Hey, what's up everybody? So I'm back again. Decided to make another video. Wasn't really planning on it. Usually last minute ideas and then I jump on it before I forget it. And that's where I'm at. I received a CD in the mail, a couple CDs actually from Brandon Mint, and one of them when I was listening to it, I just got flooded back with so many memories of my childhood and when I first got into heavy metal. And so I showed a couple of pictures of some stuff I was listening to Brandon, and he said you should make your favorite heavy metal list. So I started working on that, and I kept on grabbing albums after albums after albums, and realized this is almost an impossible task because every one of these fucking albums I love. And so basically, here I am, and I got the idea maybe showing what my heavy metal collection looked like when I first started listening to metal. So after maybe 3 years, this is probably in a roundabout way what it looked like. These are the ones that really stand out to me. I decided to exclude any 70s albums because I had a shitload of 70s music, or any thrash metal, because I got into thrash metal probably 1986 or 87. Really got into heavy metal probably in 85, I would say, and got my first album in 85, and it's kicked off this journey. I've kind of talked about these in several videos and shown a lot of these in several videos, but I've never put one together like this, and I thought this was just a really great idea. So basically, I guess I'm gonna title what my heavy metal collection looked like when I was a youth, when I was a kid or something like that, I don't know. But cheers, drinking a couple of beers. Got some Blue Moon, I guess it's white, Belgian white. I love this, I don't care. I really don't like flavored beer, but this one's good enough for me. But anyway, going back in time, I remember the very first heavy metal song I heard was actually, first it was on a movie, and then second was my neighbors. They're teenage, I call them teenagers because they're older than me. In 85 I would have been like 11 or 12, so but the teenagers next to me, they would have been like 16 or 17, and I remember they had a picnic table in their backyard, and this particular night they had their boom box outside, and it was blasting this song, and it was like, wow, and these kids were just jumping off of everything, kicking trash cans. And it was by this band Quiet Riot, and it was Metal Health. That's the very first heavy metal song I could really remember hearing, and actually didn't have this album until maybe later. Back then my parents probably wouldn't have let me buy this, and I would say this was probably in 84, 83, whenever this album came out. So yeah, and the movie I'm talking about is Footloose. Whenever dude, I can't remember his character's name, but Kevin Bacon gets pulled over by the cops and he's playing Bang Your Head, da-dan down. Metal Health will drive you mad. I freaking love that. So this is what kicked it off, kinda. Another band, I'll just bring it out now, is Twisted Sister. I remember I think it was MTV was actually playing We're Not Gonna Take It, but also the movie Iron Eagle, when he's in his fighter jet, or they're running around planning on attacking MiGs or whatever the fuck that was in that movie. That song was playing, but I remember listening to this. My buddy had this album as well. This is the OG Press, by the way. Had this album, and we listened to it a lot, and I freaking love this. And I got this a little bit later, but I love the tracks. Burning Hell, that's my favorite song on this. Of course, Horror Terra with Captain Howdy and Street Justice, cool freaking song. And The Price, I really like that. The Beast, that's another one I listened to when I was a kid a lot. So those are two albums, kind of offshoots, because I didn't actually have copies of them, but I knew those songs. But the granddaddy that kicked this all off, like I said, I've said this so many times, but it is literally my favorite album of all time is Iron Maiden Killers. First got this, and this is my actual old cassette. I don't have my original cassette of this. I bought this later. But the original cassette, I remember I bought Killers, and I bought this probably 2 days later. This actual cassette, Number of the Beast. And they became my favorite bands. And I'm not going to show all the albums I had by them at that point. But this one, of course, man, I was at my buddy's house and we was out in the backyard playing, and he had a half pipe. And I think we were skateboarding, or we had roller skates. I can't remember exactly what we was doing. But he got into his dad's record collection. His dad was hip for back in the day, and played this album, this one, and the Misfits album. But this one right here, I was in total freaking awe when I first heard it. IDs of March, and it was all over. I was into this album. Every track on this is my favorite. Purgatory Sun. One of my favorite tracks, always makes me think of Scooby-Doo, because I was watching a lot of Scooby-Doo back then. If anybody from the 80s remembers that, well, you guys should, but I don't even know why I said that. But anyway, that's what this album reminds me of Halloween and Scooby-Doo, and when I was a kid, and trying to hide this album from my parents. I did not want them to know I was listening to stuff like this, because I thought this was just evil shit. And still a favorite. Still the greatest album of all time in my book, and the reason why I play bass is right here. And if I didn't mention it, I think I did, but I must repeat it. I'm not going to show any 70s or thrash metal in this. Just particularly all the stuff that was before I got into thrash metal. The 70s stuff I was kind of into, but I didn't have very much. Maybe Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath. But actually, no, I didn't have Black Sabbath yet. Back then, I didn't even know who the fuck Black Sabbath was until I heard an Ozzy album. But I think the second, where is it? Hang a minute. Uh-oh. Where did I put it? Oh shit, I got all of them. Oh, fuck it. I'll just show them all. I probably shouldn't, but I will. That's gonna take a lot of time if I can figure out where I put the rest of them. But anyway, probably this stack here. Actually, I'm not gonna show you vinyl. I have vinyls of these two. But actually, the very first Motley Crue album, this is probably the second heavy metal album I ever heard, was Motley Crue Shout at the Devil. And I went down the rabbit hole, of course, picked up Too Fast for Love, which I love. I love Piece of Your Action, Live Wire, Merry Go Round, every track on this one. I have this on vinyl as well, but I may try to show that after. It's over here somewhere. Girls, Girls, Girls. I like some of it. I don't like this whole album, to be honest with you, but I do like Wild Side. You're All I Need, actually really dark and cold, and Dancing on Glass. I really like those tracks, but it's not like the first two albums, in my opinion. The first two albums are fucking stellar, but this is the very first one I got, was this one. And I had it on cassette originally. I got the CD sometime in the 80s, or 90s maybe, can't remember. But this album, to me, Killers and this album played religiously over and over again. And I remember listening to this album and hiding it from my parents. And I'd played a cassette, and I was afraid demons was going to come out of my stereo, because we literally come home from church. First thing I did was play Shout at the Devil. Favorite tracks on this are definitely Shout at the Devil. I love the opening track, the intro. I thought that was dark as hell back in the day. Still could recite it. Like Red Hot. I think that's the very first song I ever heard double bass on. What else is on this? without looking at the titles. Looks at Kill, I love that Darkness. Danger, I love that ballad. But Helter Skelter, the Beatles cover, I could go on and on for days. This album will never leave my collection. This is one of the top 10 albums of all time in my book, for me. So I got that. Then it was, I remember getting this album, Holy Diver by Dio. Got both copies. This is the reissue from a couple years ago. I dig it. It sounds really good. I like how on this and this to have both versions. This one they've remastered and left some of the intros where they count off, and I really dig. If they're going to remaster something, don't make it sound like this. The bonus features in this, it's just real small bonus features, but adds to it so much, like the countdowns or a little bit of talking at the end of the track. But anyway, Dio, this is definitely the third album in my collection, and I'm gonna be running back to a lot of other ones because I know this is not the only one I got back then. But anyway, yeah, this one, listen to it over and over again. Of course, Holy Diver, the title track, is one of my favorite songs of all time. Don't Talk to Strangers, I heard on a compilation. That's how I found out about this. It was a compilation that had Judas Priest, Free Will Burning, had Indians by Anthrax, it had See in Hell by Grim Reaper. I wish I knew the name of that, and I've said that several times in this video of what that comp was, because that comp was one of my favorite comps, and it introduced me to a lot of bands, including Dio. But this album, of course, man, I like every track, but like I said, the standouts to me is Holy Diver, Don't Talk to Strangers, Rainbow in the Dark, of course. But Shane on the Night was one of my favorites because I'm a really heavy Doom guy, and that's a doomy ass track. But Holy Diver by Dio. I don't even think I've ever shown this CD version on my channel. I dig it. The old CDs rule. So I'm pretty sure those are definitely the first three in my collection. And then what kicked this whole thing off, I don't know where this lines up. It's in the first 10 at least. And this is what Brandon sent me, so thank you so much. I have two versions of this, which I have the remaster as well. The remaster has Fuck Like a Beast and some bonus tracks like Sleeping in the Fire, I think, the acoustic version. I'm pretty sure. Or is that on the, that's on Live and Raw. Never mind, it's on this one. But I'm a huge Wasp guy. These are the albums that I grew up with. I had this on cassette, all of these on cassette originally. I don't have those cassettes anymore, but Under the Last Command and the first debut are my favorites. And then I liked this one a lot. This is actually the very first raw or live album I ever heard, was this one, and I still love it to this day. And this one has my favorite track that I want played at my funeral, which is Sleeping in the Fire. Love it. But I was so stoked that Brandon sent me the original, because the remaster sounds like fucking dog shit compared to this original, and I never really realized that until I listened to this thing. And this album totally sound different for some reason. Maybe it's the track lineup, because this one starts off with Animal, Fuck Like a Beast, and this one starts off with, God dang it, Wanna Be Somebody, which I love that song. But I remember listening to this all the time, and everybody at school thought I was satanic because I listened to Motley Crue, Iron Maiden, Dio, and Wasp. Go figure. The Satanic Panic, of course. I got this one probably a couple days later on cassette, of course, because I love Wild Child and Black Widow. But this one, every freaking song on it. I love Love Machine, Sleeping in the Fire, of course, Hellion. Fucking love that song. Tormentor, The Torture Never Stops. And actually, you know what's funny is whenever I got into thrash metal and heard Show No Mercy, for some reason, Show No Mercy by Slayer and this album kind of have the same aura, if that makes any sense. And it's probably because Show No Mercy has a song called Tormentor, and they both kind of have that same production quality. I know that's a far stretch, but man, this one I listened to religiously when I was a kid. Loved it. Where am I at? I'm just going to go through because I probably lost after that. The first 3 albums definitely, or Set in Stone, everything else probably came out. I got a little bit later, but my first Ozzy albums I ever heard are these 2. And the first time I ever heard Black Sabbath is actually on this one. I heard this first. And I know I heard Black Sabbath, but never had anything. And then I got this on cassette, Speak of the Devil. And man, still to this day, this is my favorite version of those Black Sabbath songs. I love Ozzy's vocals on it. I still love the Black Sabbath versions, don't get me wrong. But I love his vocals on, especially on the track Black Sabbath. That's the best version is on this. I love the way his vocals sound. And this has Symptoms of the Universe, freaking love it. Snowblind, Black Sabbath, The Wizard, War Pigs, NIB, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. I mean, just a killer one. I wish I still had that cassette on him, but this is OG CD, so it doesn't really fucking matter, I guess. It's a good one. And the very first Ozzy album actually I heard was this, and I still have the original cassette, if I can remember where I put it. I'm gonna move on because I know I have it somewhere. It's probably in that, somewhere in there. I don't think I put it in here. Oh damn, there's another cassette I forgot to take out. Several in there. Anyway. So I bought the cassette. I have it somewhere around here. I'm not going to look for it, but what it was I was looking for the song Crazy Train because I really liked that song. And then, and so when I was looking at the Ozzy albums, that's the only album they had there. They didn't have Blizzard of Oz, and they had the tribute. And man, I tell you what, that song sold me on this album. But I remember listening to this, and this is what really got me in playing guitar. I was originally a bass player, still am. But I started really playing with guitar because of Randy Rhoads. I loved his guitar work. And I remember actually listening to that cassette in my backyard. My dad had me digging a driveway, believe it or not. And the driveway, you know, it took some work. And I used a shovel and all that good shit. And I was playing tribute the whole time, and I remember my dad going, the guitars are actually really good, but I hate the screaming vocals. And Ozzy's not screaming in this, but my dad thought he was. But man, this album will forever. This is an OG CD as well on CBS. Got this probably a couple years later when I started collecting CDs. But Randy Rhoads guitaring in this. And the Black Sabbath songs on this as well. This is still, those 2 are my favorite Ozzy albums, believe it or not. The live stuff. I don't know what it is about the live stuff that I like so much, but I freaking love it. And I love this version the best because Suicide Solution has the guitar solo that's not on the actual album. The guitar solo Randy Rhoads did on the, I guess it's the Suicidal Solution guitar solo. Holy hell, that thing is just as good as freaking Eruption by Van Halen. Which, I almost put Van Halen in this, but I remember the album I was going to show was actually a 70s album, so I didn't. I might do a 70s video later. let's go to another one. The first Kiss album, this is the only Kiss album I'm going to show. I'm not the hugest Kiss fan. I do like them, but this is definitely my favorite Kiss album, and it's the very first one I heard. And this is the original one I got. I have this on vinyl. I should have sold that out as well, the OG vinyl, but just grab the cassette. Make things a little bit easier because I've overdid my shit here. But my sister's friend was playing this album on the porch, and it was I've Had Enough, Into the Fire. I immediately got this cassette probably the next day. And I got a bunch of Kiss cassettes. Creatures of the Night was another one I picked up, and Lick It Up. But I said, for sticking with the 80s, 1984 is when this was released. It's my favorite Kiss album, hands down. Love this motherfucker, and it just takes me back every time I listen to it. And I've always loved their logo. I love this artwork with the different furs, I guess. Zebra skin, leopard skin, tiger skin, and I'm not sure, I guess Black Panther at the bottom. But this is definitely what my collection would have looked like. Another one, my original cassette, Accept, Metal Heart. I listened to this one back in the day religiously too. This is one of the originals I had in that collection, so you're getting a glimpse of what some of my collection looked like back then. But this one, I think, really got me into the classical style guitar work, because they play for release in the guitar solo on the opening track, and that just sold me on this. And this is still my favorite Accept album. I like all their stuff, but this is the one. I'm kind of going through this a little bit faster because I got so much to show. This one, so a lot of people are probably throwing up and puking, but a lot of us my age probably got into heavy metal with this type of stuff right here before thrash. And this is a gem in my eyes. Poison's Look What the Cat Dragged In. This is the original album I bought probably when I was in 6th grade when this came out. So 1986. And damn, I listened to this over and over again. I thought this was the heaviest album of all time just because of the track. Look what the title track. And I just love the riff. I love the vocals. It's just hooky, catchy, and memorable. Great one. Poison. I had that one, and I got all the Poison albums, but I'll show those later. It may be a favorite glam metal video. I don't want to throw too much off. So, favorite AC/DC album is this, and I had this on cassette. It's the first one I heard. And I heard this on the movie Maximum Overdrive, which I think this is the soundtrack to it, if I remember right. Maximum Overdrive right there. And the track Who Made Who, man, I love that track. But this takes me back to, it really reminds me of a night where it was a little bit rainy, stormy night. I want to say maybe in October or something like that when I first heard this. Me and my buddies went fishing, and I remember going back to his house, and he played this. We sat in the backyard. I remember we had a little fire and was listening to this, and it's still to this day, every time I hear this, makes me think of those two buddies of mine and just hanging out listening to this. And we thought this was evil. We did. Hell's Bells came on, and we was like, it's all Halloween like. And I love the instrumentals on this. Sink the Pink, DT. I love the Ride On. I love that song. For Those Who About to Rock is my favorite AC/DC song of all time. I know you can get that song on a couple of other albums. Maybe, I think there's a album that's titled that. It seemed like you could pick up any AC/DC album back then and have two of your favorite songs from other albums on it. It was weird. But AC/DC, Who Made Who, Man, I love this sucker. Oh, in the background, by the way, make Thomas happy. I'm listening to some Viper. Good old freaking speed metal. Okay, so I'm gonna show this, and there's gonna be a lot of puking. Another one, but I'm gonna show it because it was in my collection back in the day, and I fucking loved it. Actually, I think the very first thing I ever bought by them was this old cassette, which is basically this. If you don't know, this is the OG original Arts that got banned, and it got banned because there's a pentagram in the corner. I think that's why it got banned. But yeah, I played this sucker over and over again when I was a kid, and I still listen to it, and I still love it. Stryper's To Hell with the Devil, which I posted a picture earlier, and it had Shout at the Devil and To Hell with the Devil, and to me, those albums in my mind, and for me personally, just go hand in hand. So you got Good and Evil, and of course this one too, which I have my original. This is the OG, and I have the somewhere. I thought I did. Oh yeah, there it is. This is the original cassette I got of this album, which is OG as well. So these are the originals. Of course, Soldiers Under Command. That was the heaviest tune I ever heard in my life back then. I don't think I've ever shown this cassette on this channel. I know I've shown that vinyl, but this is what the OG cassette looks like from way back when. This killer album, I do not have their first album, and I had it back then, but I need to reacquire it. This one, I don't know what I was thinking when I was a kid, but for some reason I tore this off. I don't know why I did that. But this is a classic in my mind. A lot of us from when I was growing up in this era knows this. Killer shit, Stryper. And it, of course, this is the OG, which I freaking love this damn album too. So I'll get back to heavy metal, don't worry. So another one, oh shit, forgot to show Ozzy. Forgot to show that one, but that's okay. I have so much to show. I'll just go back and recap a little bit, straying off. Oh shit, there's my Motley Crue records. Of course, Too Fast for Love, Shout the Devil, the alternate cover. This one actually, Theater of Pain, I never bought it on cassette. I had it on dub cassette, and so I don't have that. But I have this original vinyl, which love this. Louder Than Hell and what's that one song? Save Our Souls are my favorite tracks on this one. And of course, Girls, Girls, Girls. I have a lot of Motley Crue actually. Love Motley Crue. But teenager back then, you had that was the heavy hitters back then. Everybody was not into the thrash till later. Next one up. So Dokken, Lock Under Key, Under Lock and Key. Sorry. I have this on cassette as well, but I didn't bring it out. This is the OG original. And listen to this album over and over again. I love Unchained the Nights, The Hunter, In My Dreams. Man, that gets stuck in my head. I remember Lightning Strikes Again. I remember listening to, anytime it was we had a thunderstorm or anything like that, I'd play this album. You know, to be honest with you, it seems like I only played side A. I don't really remember this side. I know I listened to it, but I just don't really remember those tracks. Of course, this one, Tooth and Nail, which I have this on cassette as well. And man, the guitar solo on that. This is when I was really looking for anything that had guitar solos that played like Randy Rhoads and George Lynch and Eddie Van Halen and Yngwie Malmsteen. Anything that had a guitar solo in it, I was nuts for it. I remember back then everybody was really into the guitar solos. Of course, this one, Back for the Attack, I remember watching Nightmare on Elm Street. Elm Street. Fuck. Hold on, I need to drink a beer. And Dream Warriors came on. Love this album for that fucking track. These are both OGs. The first CDs I ever bought was these right here. Fucking killer. I'll keep on going. I'm just randomly grabbing stuff, so forgive me. This is just what my collection looked like. Basically, by 1988, this is what my collection will look like. One of my favorite albums of all time. These are all three OGs. I think this might be second pressing. I'm not sure, but it's pretty fucking old. I've had it for fucking since the 80s. Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses. First album I ever had with cuss words in it. I always thought that, never heard cuss words back in the day on anything, really, unless you listen to rap. But this one, it was another album that I tried to keep low so my parents wouldn't hear the cussing in it. I bought it on all three formats just because that's how much I love this album. Killers is the same way, but I don't have it, the cassette or the CD. I just have the vinyl. But I used to. But yeah, this album for me back in the day. Favorite tracks on this was It's So Easy. I love that fucking song. Out to Get Me. I love that damn song. My Michelle. Rocket Queen. Anything Goes. And I have quite a few Guns N' Roses albums. That stack. I don't have Chinese Democracy or anything after Slash. I guess I should be safe. But this album right here, listen to the shit and it never fucking gets old. Randomly grabbing stuff. Let's grab this band. This band right here. This is the first album I heard, On Through the Night. It's still my favorite. This one, Rock Brigade. When I first heard that song, it's stuck in my head forever. Love Hello America, but Wasted was another one I loved on this album. Also, there's a ballad. What was that ballad called? Answer to the Master. I love that track. Overture, like that one too. Forever a golden classic. And I'm pretty sure this was 80s. It might be 70s. Fuck, I can't remember. Let's show the 70s if that's the 80s ones. Then they released this one, which I had on cassette. This is the OG CD. High and Dry. I remember when I first heard it, I thought it sounded like AC/DC. But it grew on me. I love Let It Go, another hit and run. High and Dry, that song sounds like AC/DC big time. Bringing On a Heartbreak, Switch 625, I love both those tracks together and that instrumental at the end. Freaking love it. I actually heard a Doom Stoner band play live and they played a cover of Switch 265 or 625. Mirror Mirror on the Wall, Mirror Mirror Look Into My Eyes. Classic. And then of course Pyromania. Let's piss out of this motherfucker back in the day too. I love Photograph. One of my favorite tracks. Actually, when I was in 10th grade, I think, teacher wanted us to bring our favorite song. and everybody got to play their favorite song in some kind of class. I can't remember what class that was, but I picked Billy Get Your Guns, and love it. Foolin' is another good one. Too Late for Love. And back in the day, the Satanic Panic was going on, so for some reason every time I hear this, we had an incident that happened in just like a couple miles from this house, exactly where I'm sitting at, and Gerardo Rivera actually did a special on it, and had it part of a special actually. It was inspired, but basically what happened was, it's the Stephen Newberry case. Just look it up. You'll understand what I'm talking about. So every time I hear this album, for some reason, makes me think of that. Def Leppard. I like those demos. Let's keep carrying on. Man, White Snake. Man, I used to play this son of a gun over and over again. I still love this album. Love the artwork. It's another one I had on cassette originally, and I got this CD later. Probably about this CD in the late 80s, early 90s. But Slide It In was one of the tracks I freaking love. I love Slow and Easy as well. Gambler, that's a good one. Spit It Out, killer one. Another one that was in that collection, this is the original cassette, and I love this album, the self-titled 1987 release on Geffen Records. And then of course the CD, I don't have this on vinyl, but I wish I did. This album, every time I hear it, Crying in the Rain, Still of the Night, of course, Here I Go Again, every freaking track on this. And I used to have the hots for the girl, the video, the chick in the video. I can't remember her name, but this is a freaking classic in my book. Heavy as hell. Love the guitar work in this. So these three albums, or two albums actually, my favorite White Snake albums. I have a couple more, but these are the ones that really was in the collection back then. Another one that might be cringeworthy for some, but I don't care. It was in my collection. This is the cassette I had back then. Still have it. Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet. Got this album just after I heard the song Wanted Dead or Alive, and that's my favorite track on this album. Actually, every track on this album, it's freaking awesome. I played this thing over and over again. I haven't played the cassette actually in years. I usually pull the CD out, which is the OG cassette and OG CD that I originally had. Is that upside down? I can look upside down. But wow, this one reminds. This one has some my first girlfriend tied to it for some reason. Every time I hear this, I kind of think of her a little bit. I mean, not in a weird way. It was kind of puppy love. It wasn't really a boyfriend-girlfriend thing, but back then, you know, we didn't do anything extracurricular. But anyway, this is a must-have in my book. Let It Rock. I love it. Living on a Prayer. Wanted Dead or Alive. Raise Your Hands. Actually, Raise Your Hands, I think, is that on Spaceballs? I think it was. Love that riff. That's a killer riff. I'd Die For You. That's the song that reminds me of my first girlfriend, I guess. Never Say Goodbye. Killer. Getting to some heavier stuff for me back then was, this is actually my favorite Judas Priest album next to Painkiller. I think all three, I didn't bring Painkiller out because it was 1990, but I got this album first on a dub cassette my buddy made me, and it had Metallica's Ride of Lightning and this one. I don't have my original. I bought this, of course, this is the reissue. I wish I had the original I used to have, but this is fine. It sounds freaking awesome. Love this damn album. Favorite tracks on this is Free Will Burning, right off the bat. It was on a comp I was just talking about earlier, and that's how I heard about this album. Jawbreaker, the Centennial. I actually have a bass cover doing a solo of that. I need to post. Love Bites, of course. Some Heads Are Gonna Roll. Night Comes Down, I love it. I like every track on this. Whenever anybody talks about this album, they always shit on Defenders of the Faith. But I thought it was a great album closer, to be honest with you. Then this one. This is actually OG. This album right here, the Hellion, love that. I actually did a cover of that too. Electric Eye, I love those two tracks together. Man, what is another one? Riding on This Wind, I love the drums in that. Devil's Child, Screaming for Vengeance, You Got Another Thing Coming. Perfect album. Another one, Candlemass. This is the only album, well, actually I have two other albums, but this is the album I had back then. Not these versions, I had it on cassette. I bought this cassette, or this CD years later, and then this vinyl a couple of years ago. But Candlemass was definitely when I started wanting the darker side of stuff. To me, this was pretty dark and evil. And I love this album. I love it to death. Every track, Solitude, Demon's Gate, Crystal Ball. Every one of these tracks fucking rule. Under the Oak. I think I say that every time. I love that track. But this is another one that I listen to quite a bit. Let's go to these. I'm going to try to speed it up because I'm about 42 minutes in. Had these. These are the originals I had. And then I got these records later. And these are OGs as well. So Queensryche, I didn't pull out the other album. These are the two Queensryche albums that I listen to the most still to this day. Of course, this is a mini EP or a mini album. But it goes with this one so well, so I play them together. Queen of the Reich, Knight Rider, The Lady Wore Black. And then this one, Warning. Is that Warning on this? Yeah. Warning. I can't see, it's blurry. Let me see the other one. The cassette I wore out. I can't see that fucking either. I need to get glasses. But Queensryche definitely was shit I had in my collection back then. Of course, Halloween, Keeper of the Seven Keys. I had part 2 as well, but it seems like I didn't like that one as much as I liked this one. So for the life of me, it was in my collection, but I didn't listen to it as much until I got a little bit older. But this one I listened to religiously. Favorite tracks on this is I'm Alive, A Little Time, Twilight of the Gods, A Tale That Wasn't Right. I love that ballad. Future World was actually my least favorite song on this, and that was their single. Halloween, the epic 13-minute freaking track, and Follow the Sign. Played that over and over again. This was another one I bought just because somebody told me that Halloween and Merciful Fate sound the same. And they don't. I think it's because the high vocal register. But Melissa by Merciful Fates played a lot back then. And every track is my favorite, but I used to, on my cassette, I would rewind and listen to Evil, Curse of the Pharaohs, and Into the Coven over and over and over again, because those are my favorite tracks on this, but every track on this is awesome. I have every Merciful Fate album but Spider. Yeah, I have every Merciful Fate album. I was gonna say Spider's Lullaby, but that's a King Diamond album. Let's see what else I got over here. Oh, more Judas Priest. This was in my collection. Hellbent, or no, Killing Machine, but Hellbent for Leather was my favorite track on this, and Before the Dawn. Of course, Stained Class. Beyond the Realms of Death is my favorite track, and I wish I could get a hold of the Opeth copy of that, or a version of that, but Exciter, Saints in Hell. I forgot to show these. And then Ram It Down. Actually, I love this fucking album. I love every track on it, but my favorite tracks on it is Blood Red Sky and Monsters of Rock. Monsters of Rock. I like that doomy sound. I think it was freaking awesome. I'm going to kind of go through these a little bit quick because I'm running out of time on my recorder, but Black Sabbath I had back then would have been The Mob Rules, Heaven and Hell. I don't know why they pull those out. And then of course Born Again, which is a banger. This is my OG. Actually, I found this. This is not my original OG. I used to have this on OG. I gave it away, and then I found another copy of it. So this is it. Favorite tracks on this is Disturbing the Priest. I love that song. I like the intro, the dark that goes into Zero the Hero. Born Again, I love that song. I remember when I first heard it, I was like, man, this is like, and it basically is, Deep Purple and Black Sabbath at the same time. What else I got here? Have I forgotten anything? Oh, we'll go through these real quick. These were in my collection as well back then. Tesla's mechanical, what was it called? Resonance. I love every track. Easy Come, Easy Go. Coming at You Live, I think. Yeah, Coming at You Live. Getting Better is good. I listened to this the other night and listened to it several times. Modern Day Cowboy. Holy shit. Killer fucking song. And Before My Eyes. Those are my favorite tracks. Oh my gosh. I did bring that Black Sabbath album out. It's right there. So, Trilogy, Yngwie Malmsteen. Dark Ages is my favorite song on this, and my favorite vocal performance. I love the vocals on that. Heaven and Hell. Actually, my theme song, I call it, back then was Die Young, because of my last name. Love this album. Children of the Sea. What's that one? Die Young, of course. Wishing Well. Lady Evil. Bordillo. I had it hidden from myself, but The Last in Line is my favorite track. One Night in the City, Mystery, Eat Your Heart Out, Egypt. Actually, I like the Dora Pesha version of Egypt, The Chains Are On. I think it's on Holy Dio. And then another Ozzy album I had back then, Diary of a Madman and Believer, my favorite tracks, and Sato, S-A-T-O. Love that track. And then the last one of the show, because I'm running out of time, is Yngwie Malmsteen Rising Force. This was reissued a couple, I don't know when, but I got this reissue. I've only listened to it a couple times. I think I'm going to listen to it tonight. But every track on this. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't know if anybody made it to the end. I decided to shoot a fucking long-ass video, but that's my journey. That's what my collection will look like when I was a teenager. So, hope you like it. If you want to do a response, hell yeah, tag me in it so I can watch it and enjoy it, because I love listening to everybody else's stories. You all have a good one. Later.